Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be discussing the transit of Rahu and Ketu into the sign of Aries and Libra. Both Rahu and Ketu, they are going to change the sign, and on 12th of April 2022, it means today, Rahu is going to transit the sign of Aries and Ketu is going to enter the sign of Libra. Both Rahu and Ketu, they move in retrograde motion, they move backward. That means previously Rahu was transiting the sign of Taurus, Ketu was transiting the sign of Scorpio, but now they are going to change the sign and they are going to enter the sign of Aries and Libra respectively. Rahu and Ketu, they are very slow moving, they move through a sign very slowly. In fact, their journey through a particular zodiac sign happens to be of around 18 months. So it's a very long transit of Rahu and Ketu. So whenever any such important energy associated with the planets, zodiac signs, and they transit very slowly, then it brings huge and important energies, life events for any kind of native or for the whole of the mankind. As I was saying that their transit is a very slow one and they transit for 18 months. So that means Rahu will be transiting through the sign of Aries till 31st of October 2023, and then it will leave Aries in the backward motion, in the retrograde motion, and enter the sign of Pisces. Similarly for Ketu, it will be transiting through the sign of Libra till 31st of October 2023, and then it will leave Libra and enter the sign of Virgo. So it's a very slow transit, very long transit as per the duration of time is concerned. So the significance related to the sign of Aries and Libra, wheresoever they lie in your horoscope, will become very significant due to the virtue of this particular two planets. Now, when we are talking about planets, first we have to understand Rahu and Ketu, basically they are not any physical entity, they are not any physical planet, because when we hear the term planet, we normally think of a physical entity moving around the sun in the cosmos. But Rahu and Ketu, they don't have any physical identity. They are not any heavenly body, to be very precise and accurate. They are actually 2 points in the cosmos, 2 important points, astronomical points in the cosmos, which happens to be moving, means it looks as if they are moving in the retrograde motion. And when we look those points with respect to the zodiac sign, it brings huge changes in the life of a native or mankind. In the language of Vedic astrology, Rahu and Ketu is considered as a graha. When we talk about planets, the definition of planet is different, but when you talk about grahas, they have got different meaning, different statement, different definition altogether. Graha is something which can cause grahan, which can eclipse the place, which can eclipse our mind. And when we talk about Rahu and Ketu, they have got the special ability to cause the eclipses. That is the reason, they are the reason for the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse. So they have got huge energies. Now the energy of Rahu and Ketu, they bring the balance in the life of the native. Both the energies are quite different to each other, but all together they bring a balance in the life of a native. When we talk about the Rahu is all about future, illusion, obsession, materialistic desire. What we want what will be the focus in this lifetime. That is what Rahu is. What we desire, what we think of, what we want, what we feel to get fulfilled in this particular lifetime. If you want to understand, then you have to check wheresoever Rahu is sitting in your chart. What we can feel for ourselves in the future, what we want to achieve, that is Rahu. On the other hand, Ketu deals with the past, Ketu deals with introspection, Ketu deals with any kind of talents which we had in the past lives. And that is the reason Ketu shows detachment for the significance of that particular house, because it feels that we have already achieved those things in our past lives. So now our focus is quite moved away from those significance wheresoever Ketu lies in our chart. But nevertheless, both these two planets are very mysterious, very unpredictable. The element of suddenness is always there with these two planets, because whenever their dasa comes, or whenever a transit of Rahu and Ketu happens to a particular house, any result regarding the significance of that house suddenly can occur in our lifetime. It will happen, but when, no one knows. It will be all of a sudden. It will not give you any prior information that it is going to happen. It is just like a spark, it happened. It is just like Rahu is about illusion. It is the smoky planet. It is about the airy planet, smoky, which doesn't allow us to look forward. That's the reason when we chase our obsession without having the proper wisdom, many a times we get the results, but many a times it can also make us feel that whatever we have got, that is not enough. So it can make us feel that we can achieve this, but when we get the things, we again feel that this was not enough, something else can be achieved, and that can make us happy. That is what Rahu can make you feel. On the other hand, Ketu can take us inward. Ketu can make us feel that yes, we already have this particular talent, so we don't use it much. But this can also make us more research oriented regarding the things which we know, regarding the talents which we already have, which we already possess. Now this can be taken into two ways. Either we may feel that I already know about it better than many, so Ketu can make you feel that achieve something else. So Ketu makes us detached from those significance. On this other hand, the same Ketu can make you feel full of insights to discriminate or to understand any particular thing in life wheresoever Ketu lies regarding the significance of that house. It gives us the power to discriminate those particular significance with most clear eyes. It gives us that kind of insights to penetrate, to pierce into the things, to understand the most deeper aspects of those significance. And that's the reason we don't get satisfied. That's the reason it also makes us feel that this is not the thing which I wanted. Can we make it more better? Can we make it more understandable? So we dig out the gems, but we feel that no, this is not the perfect one. Let us see something else. This is what also Ketu can signify. Now, how we take it, that is completely upon us. That is the reason Ketu can also take us towards the highest level of spirituality, because when we think about the Almighty, when we think about the super soul, that is the higher energy, there is no end. And that's the reason we can go more deep into the life of spiritual growth. But interestingly, Ketu can also take us to spirituality, because the same obsessive energy, which is a very high energy of Rahu, when we talk about Rahu, that can also, apart from giving you material desires, can also take you to life of spirituality. It is a very high energetic planet or graha, what we can take it, giving us the interest towards occult science, or to explore the culture or any kind of information, ancient scripture, in some other way, in some innovative way, in some different way. Now, when we talk about the sign of Aries and Libra, the sign Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it deals with anything with the own self, that is the native himself or herself, own personality, that is myself. It's a very energetic sign, very aggressive, very impulsive, always on the work, always ready to accomplish the task. That is the energy of Mars. Anything which belongs to me, or anything which I am, I will achieve it. That kind of energy is Aries. And Rahu is obsession. So whenever Rahu transits the sign of Aries, it can make you very obsessive wheresoever the sign Aries lies in your chart. On the other hand, Libra, the seventh house of the natural zodiac, just opposite to Aries. It is about the other people, it is about how you deal with the other people. How much capability do you have to bond a relationship with the other people? That means your relationship in general, or your partner. Now it can be marriage relationship or business partner. Your ability to get into any kind of negotiation, irrespective of what kind of negotiations you are going through. Your ability to present yourself diplomatically when you are dealing with other people, because when you are diplomatically associating with other people, your ego will be challenged, because when we are high at ego, we cannot deal with other people, because our attitude will be always straightforward, and that can make us face some problem to come into any kind of negotiation. So Libra is that sign which deals with our ability to have a very peaceful, loving negotiation, diplomatic ideas. It is a very idealistic sign, it is a very social sign, very thoughtful, just loving, means justice loving. It is a very balanced sign, means it has the energy to balance down any kind of problems wheresoever the sign Libra lies. Whereas when you talk about Ketu, it is detachment, it is the penetration, the pierceful insight into any kind of matter. Now when we are talking about diplomatic ideas and negotiations, and when we take the information of Ketu, that means the moment you come into any kind of negotiation, Ketu will make you feel that this is not done, it has more to think about, it has more to, so it makes you very rough, it makes you very straightforward. Whereas the sign Libra is very peace loving, binding, love. So this kind of energies can suddenly come in front of you. Now wheresoever the sign Libra or the sign Aries lies in your chart, it will have different kind of impact. And definitely transits give you results according to the promises of the horoscope. If you have certain promise in your horoscope, and when the dasa runs, and during that dasa, if any particular transit related to that house happens, that is the time of fructification of that particular event to be happening in your horoscope, isn't it? And that is how transit occurs, because when you are looking at transit, and if you are not looking at dasas, then it is just like looking into one side of the coin. Both dasas and transits will give you the clear picture, the total picture. So definitely when you are looking into any kind of transit of any planet, it is very essential to look into the dasa which you are running through and the houses which are getting impacted during that dasa and the houses where the transit of the planets are happening. No matter, like suppose Mercury moves very fast, Moon is even faster, and Saturn is a slow planet. So what? If a planet is getting concerned and particular transit is happening and the respective dasas also going on, then event regarding those houses, those planets and those zodiac sign is definitely going to happen in one way or the other. Depending upon the strength of the planet, you will get the results. And yes, there are other things to be checked, like a particular transit is going to give you a fruitful result or not. That will also depend upon from where you are checking it, from the moon sign or from the ascendant sign, or which planet it is transiting over, like for the natal chart. Okay, so there are many things which we have to look into. Now this particular reading which I am making from the ascendant sign, but you should also check it from your moon sign. Like suppose I am talking about the sign of Aries and Libra, but suppose your moon sign happens to be Cancer, then Aries will be your 10th house and Libra will be your 4th house from your moon sign. So from the ascendant also you have to check it, from the moon sign also you have to check it. Why? Because Rahu and Ketu, they are basically the nodes of the moon, they are lunar nodes. Rahu is known to be the north node, whereas Ketu is known to be the south node. So checking from the moon sign is also essential, and I will say that it will give you a good insight that how psychologically or emotionally this transit is going to impact you, that is from the moon sign, and how physically the things are going to happen in the real life, that is very much evident from the ascendant, from the lagna, because lagna is our physical body. Ultimately we are going to experience it. Now how we are feeling about it, that is the moon sign, but what we are experiencing, that is the lagna, first house, ascendant. So check it from your ascendant sign first and then from the moon sign. That will give you a very clear picture regarding this particular transit. Now anytime if you want a consultation from me regarding this transit, because it is going to happen for the 18 months, it's a huge time. During this transit, many planets will move through the zodiac, it will meet Rahu and Ketu, and it will bring different kinds of colors and flavors in your life. So anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section and you can mail me through my email ID, or you can join me in Facebook or Instagram accounts. Now you are suppose new to this channel, then it is my request, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video upload into YouTube, you get it notified instantly. Okay, so now I will start it for all the 12 ascendant sign, and yes, check it from your moon sign also, okay, so that you can get a clear picture. For the Aries ascendant people, this transit is happening in your 1st and 7th house, that is Rahu is moving in your 1st house, Ketu is moving in your 7th house. So it is just like 1-7 axis is getting activated. Since Rahu is coming in your 1st house, it is giving you huge energy, too much confidence. This is also making you very much obsessed regarding your decision making, regarding your ego, your attitude, your personality, and whatever decisions you want to take in your life. So this is a very good time to take proper decisions, to use your energy in proper areas of your life. Now since Aries is a fiery sign, it goes into action through its aggression, passion and impulsion. This Rahu will expand those qualities in your life, and it will also make you feel very much energetic towards any kind of significance you want to follow, or any kind of things you want to follow in day to day life. This Rahu transit over your first house will also make you victorious in every step. It will curve down your opponents. It will make you feel that yes, I can achieve the things. So while following your path, you have to also take use of your wisdom, because Rahu, don't forget, it is an illusion. It can also make you feel that you have achieved the things, but that is not enough. This kind of feel that is not enough can make you feel very much restless. So that can also lead to some kind of mental anxiety. Why? Because more of energy, so you are using more of your energy in one particular kind of work. So you have to be very much like where you are putting your energy, correct? That is from the Rahu point of view. Now when we talk about Ketu, on the other hand, Ketu shows detachment, and 7th house is the house of other people, partner, negotiations, diplomacy. So you may face problems when you are going into any kind of negotiations, or when you are dealing with the people in a diplomatic way. You may face some kind of problems regarding that, or you may also find some kind of disturbances in your relationship or your married life. You can take it in one simple way, that you will be focused more on your personality development rather than taking care of your relationship or the other people. Now that can be your partner, business partner, spouse, your relationships. So that is what Ketu can make you feel. So when you are dealing with any other kind of people, the peace loving nature of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and suddenly Ketu transiting over it, so it can make you feel that diplomacy is not the way. It can make you feel that I can deal with this person in a more straightforward way. It can make you very rough, taking you away from that negotiation abilities, diplomatic abilities. So that is the reason you have to also take care regarding any kind of unnecessary arguments or disputes with your spouse, with your partner. Any decision regarding business, contracts, or legal bindings has to be taken very carefully, because don't forget, Ketu is headless. So all of a sudden you can take a decision, and later on you may feel that I should not have taken this decision. So you have to be very much careful. This is also a time where you can consult with your partner. Now since Ketu is headless, it can also make you feel that should I trust the person or not. The piercing and penetrating power of Ketu, the sense of disbelief, that can also come during this particular time. So use your wisdom. This transit of Ketu can be very much good if your 7th lord is well disposited, if your Jupiter and Venus is well disposited. That is, 7th lord is obviously Venus, is well disposited along with Jupiter, because Jupiter is the 9th lord, that is the higher wisdom. If these two planets are well disposited, then this Ketu transit is going to be a good one, because now although Ketu will be transiting in the 7th house, but you are getting the energy, that wisdom of Jupiter and that disposition of the 7th lord Venus. Okay, so that's it for the Aries ascendant people. When we talk about the Taurus ascendant people, this transit is going to happen in your 12th house and 6th house. That is, for the Taurus people, Aries is the 12th house, and Rahu will be transiting in your 12th house, whereas Ketu will be transiting in your 6th house. So when we talk about Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Taurus is a sign which talks about material desires, achievements in materialistic life, and that is the reason you see Venus, which is the Lagna lord of Taurus, Venus gets exalts in the sign of Pisces, which happens to be your 11th house of gains. So it makes you highly ambitious. correct? But this Rahu transit is happening in your 12th house of detachment, loss, spirituality, salvation, liberation. So here all of a sudden you may get a shift of energy from materialistic desires to spiritual salvation or liberation. You can suddenly feel that yes, I can connect with the Almighty, I can connect in a different way, so that we can come out of that materialistic desires and follow the spiritual way of living. This kind of feeling may suddenly come by this transit of Rahu in the 12th house. Now, since Venus also talk about luxuries, pleasures and all, and Aries is a fiery sign in the 12th house, with the transit of Rahu, you have to be also very careful from any kind of addiction, intoxication, and by this presence of Rahu in the 12th house, you will also have to have proper control over your instincts. Any kind of energy which can take you to some wrong path, you have to be very careful regarding those energies also, because when we have proper check on those energies, then only we can clarify our path spiritually. That is the spiritual growth in our life. We can follow the particular tradition, that is, it can be yoga, it can be meditation, it can be some other culture or other knowledge regarding other culture, because Rahu is about away from the society, something which is innovative, something which is different. So it can happen that you can take spirituality in some faraway lands, in some foreign place, or you can get very much attracted to any kind of material which is foreign, which is away from the place where you live in. You can also make it can also make you feel that you can go to some faraway place and get more happiness at that particular place. Okay, this particular Rahu transit can be very much giving you good results when you are talking about occult or spiritual knowledge. So this is the time to have a balance at your materialistic life and your spiritual well-being. Now when we talk about Ketu is transiting through the 6th house. Now 6th house is the Artha Trikon house, whereas 12th house is the Moksha Trikon house. Moksha Trikon means the house which talks about liberation, that talks about salvation. Now since Rahu is transiting in the 12th house, and 12th house is also the house of loss, you have to also be very careful regarding expenditures. You can be charitable, that is a different thing, but be very careful regarding unnecessary expenditures or wastage of wealth or money. Okay, now talking about Ketu transiting through the Artha Trikon house, that is the house of material wealth. Okay, that is the Artha means wealth, service means facing the real world, facing the challenges. 6th house also deals with our daily routine. 6th house also deals with anything related to enemies, debts, diseases, obstructions. It is 12th from the 7th house. 7th house is the house of mass fame. 6th house also can talk about something which can create problem to reputation, to the fame. It is the house of service. Now this particular Ketu can make you feel very much disturbing while you are following your service, your duty. It can create some kind of problems with your superiors, with your authorities, with your colleagues, all of a sudden, because Libra is the sign of negotiation, diplomacy. Okay, that is the reason the Taurus people normally become very diplomatic while dealing with their opponents. This particular Ketu transit can make you feel that yes, I have to clear off this opponent, so it can take you to some long way, some far away. Have check on that, because Ketu is headless. Have some proper wisdom regarding that, that should I take this opponents or take this particular task in the life in a far thing, or take it in a just detached manner. Since Ketu is transiting in the 6th house, some kind of illness or some kind of diseases which was ignored can suddenly come up, and it can make you feel that the disease or the illness is getting undiagnosed. It can make you feel like that. So proper health keeping is also necessary during this particular transit. You have to take care of your health. You have to also take care regarding any kind of people who can harm you, who can be your opponent, because this Ketu can make you feel that yes, you can chase the person, you can clear up the things, but you have to take justified approach. You have to take justified wisdom regarding these particular things. Okay, so that is how this Rahu Ketu transit is going to work for you. For the Gemini ascendant people, Rahu transit is going to happen in your 11th house in the sign of Aries. Ketu transit is going to happen in your 5th house in the sign of Libra. Now, this transit of Rahu in the sign of Aries in the 11th house can suddenly make you very much ambitious regarding whatever things you want to achieve in your life. All of a sudden you will feel that yes, I can work wonderful in the group of people, in the projects, can take up multiple projects, and you may suddenly feel that yes, I can get success in those things. So it can make you very much manipulative at times while dealing with the other people, and you will also make it will also make you feel that yes, I can achieve to ladder of success while dealing with the large organizations or a large group of people. Since it is the sign of Aries and Rahu is that huge energy in the 11th house, you have to also be very careful regarding any kind of friend or any kind of person in your network circle who can harm you or who can cheat you, because since Rahu is illusion. So here one thing I will say you, since Rahu is transiting in your 11th house, you also should not cheat anyone or be the reason of any kind of fraud. You should also be careful regarding any kind of person who can also treat you in that manner. So be very careful from any kind of spam during this particular transit. And since it is the sign of Aries, very energetic, at times very impulsive and aggressive, at times you can also feel that yes, I can get into any kind of fight or argument among my network circle. So regarding that also you need to be very careful. Otherwise, if we talk about the benefic result of this particular transit, then this Rahu in the 11th house transit will open the gates of multiple gains in your life, multiple sources of income, wealth. Only you need to channelize your energy in a proper manner and look into the proper person, good persons in your life, not into anyone. Don't trust all of a sudden anyone. That can lead to some kind of fraud also. Be very careful regarding that. On the other hand, Ketu in the 5th house. 5th house is the house of our anything which can leads to proper planning, motivation, inspiration, because here I will talk about anything which can give a proper way to our life. That is the 5th house. It is also the house of Purva Punya, children, progeny. So first of all, when Ketu transits over this particular sign, it will impact your way of planning of your life, your way of what motivates you, what inspires you. Like it can impact your time management, it can impact your planning, your creativity, your talents. It can suddenly make you feel that this is not the thing by which I can take my creativity. You might be having any kind of creative talents, you might be having any kind of creative self-expression, but Ketu will challenge it. Ketu will make you feel that this is not the thing which you should follow. You should take it in some different way. So here, all of a sudden, it can bring some kinds of hidden talents within you. It can come in front of you. Now you have to work upon that. You have to trust your instincts. For this Ketu transit in the 5th house, it will take you some time to trust to your instincts and follow it, and gradually and slowly this Ketu transit will give you good results. Since it is the house of education, it is also the higher intelligence, that is the 5th house. So you can learn new things. But while learning the new things, you can also challenge the things which you are learning. So you may feel that is it the correct thing which I am learning. So in this way you can learn multiple things, because Ketu cuts, Ketu pierces, penetrates. So it is also a good time to learn deeper aspects of any particular subjects you want to learn, because it will give you a brilliant sense of questioning, to ask, to discriminate that is it correct or wrong. So by this way you can take the most of this transit of Ketu. But since it is also the house of your children, progeny, you have to also take care regarding the health of your children and progeny. Fifth house is also the house of romance, romantic affairs or relationships, love, or anything which can give us joy and pleasure. So all of a sudden you may feel detached from those materialistic desires and take you towards spirituality. Okay, this can happen with this transit of Ketu in the 5th house. For the Cancer ascendant people, Ketu will be transiting in your 4th house in the sign of Libra. Rahu will be transiting in the 10th house in the sign of Aries. So it will activate your 4-10 axis. For the Cancer ascendant people, the most important part becomes the inner peace, security, nurturing, mental peace and happiness, mental security, their home environment. It becomes a very important part. Emotions, beautification of emotions, and their caring. And when you talk about all those things, the first thing which comes in our mind, that is the 4th house. And guess what? For the Cancer ascendant people, the 4th house is ruled by Venus, Libra. So they are very good at maintaining the relationship at the point of mental peace and happiness. But now Ketu is going to transit in the 4th house, so it can bring some kind of mental anxiety or problem while setting up the proper justification for setting up that mental happiness and peace. When you are thinking that yes, I can be balanced while putting the mental peace and security at one place and the outside life in some other place, not to mix the both the things, that is the outside life is different, that is the 10th house, and homeland, the place where we live in, the domestic happiness is different. So here Ketu can make you feel that yes, there is something which has to be done to establish the mental peace or happiness, or certain events can happen at your home where you can feel that yes, I am not getting the mental peace, or my mental security is getting challenged. This can also lead in any kind of problems in your relationship between you and your mother. I will say that during this particular time you have to be very much careful regarding whom you allow in your mental space. All of a sudden, if any stranger come in your life, you have to be very careful that are you sharing your mental security, any kind of thing which you know, and you are sharing those emotions with someone else. Be very careful regarding that, because Ketu is that headless graha. Okay, so all of a sudden you discuss something out of your impulse, out of your emotion, and in the search of that ultimate happiness, and suddenly you feel that yes, I did a blunder. Be very careful regarding that. On the other hand, Rahu in the 10th house, it will make you feel that yes, although Cancer ascendant people, they are very home loving, very emotional, very nurturing, but when it comes to their career, profession and karma, it is ruled by Mars, Aries, so they are very energetic at their work, and Rahu can give them success during this transit through its 10th house. It can open the doors for multiple work, multiple projects. It can give you a total energy, confidence to deal with the work life, to deal with the masses, to deal with the other people. So if channelized properly, this can give you name, fame, reputation. Now one thing, when Rahu transits in the 10th house, it will make you feel that to get that top success you can take any path. It can make you feel like that. So here one thing, you have to be very much wise while choosing the path in order to get the success, because if not taken a clear path, this can also lead to some kind of problems with the authorities or with your superiors. It can be government also, because Rahu is the thought away from the normal convention. It allows you to think in a different way, in a some innovative way, away from the society. So it can also make you feel that yes, I can achieve the thing in any way. Why should I follow that predefined path? I will make my own path to get the success, and this can create some kind of issues with your colleagues, with your co-workers, or anyone at your work environment. It can be your superiors and authorities also. So be very careful while you are choosing your path. Okay, otherwise this transit of Rahu is going to be very much good, because it will give you name, fame and reputation. Okay. For the Leo ascendant people, this transit of Rahu and Ketu will activate your 3rd and 9th axis, that is the 3rd house and 9th house axis. Ketu will be transiting in your 3rd house, Rahu will be transiting in your 9th house. Now Ketu, being a malefic planet, transiting through the 3rd house is a good one, because it is very much welcome. It will give you the proper energy to follow your efforts and actions. But since Libra is the sign and Leo is the ascendant, which is ruled by Sun, and Sun debilitates in the sign of Libra, so normally what happens, it can make you very much diplomatic when you are dealing with people. But since Ketu is transiting in the 3rd house, all of a sudden when you are dealing with the other people, when you are dealing with your communication, it can make you feel that why should we go into the diplomatic way, why should we follow the path of negotiation. It can make you very much harsh with your communication at times because of this Ketu. Ketu is about that cutting, piercing. It has nothing to do with that peace, loving, bonding, negotiation, diplomacy. It has nothing to do with that. It can make you suddenly very detached from your immediate environment, your neighborhood, your sibling, your friends, by the virtue of this transit. Now, any past life talent or creative talent which you already possess can suddenly come in front of you by the virtue of this transit of Ketu in your 3rd house. So all of a sudden you can change the course of your efforts, your actions. You can suddenly feel that yes, I can do this instead of doing that, and you can work upon it. You can be very research oriented on that. Now since you are going to change the course of your efforts, so initially you will be suffering from the sense of dissatisfaction, that yes, I am not getting the results, but eventually will get, because since it is transiting through the house of efforts, actions. 3rd house is a Upachya house, so it grows with time, so you have to give some time for that. But yes, be very careful regarding your communications, because Ketu can make you feel that you said something and later on you felt that yes, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, be very careful regarding that. Since 3rd house also deals with short travels and moving, wandering, okay, relocation. This transit of Ketu can also make you feel that I moved from one place to another and it was not good for me, or it was fruitless for me. So until and unless you have a proper goal, you should not go for any kind of travels, okay, or any kind of unnecessary wandering or relocation. That can make you feel that I didn't get anything out of it, or you may feel like that. Okay. On the other hand, transit of Rahu through the 9th house, take it in this way: 9th house is the house of higher spiritual wisdom, and Rahu is obsession. Rahu is that obsessive energy to gain something out of it. So it can give you certain energy, certain that spirit of energy to learn new things, to learn the other cultures, to learn the other traditions, explored the science of spirituality in some innovative way, in some different way. So you can certainly have some spiritual discourses, some spiritual long travels to some other place to know the culture of some other community, other spiritual community. You can get along with spiritual people during this particular transit. Now, 9th house is also the house of dharma. 9th house is also the house of father, guru, teachings of father and guru, elders. Aries is a fiery sign, very impulsive, very aggressive, always going for the achievement, and Rahu is obsession. So here, in order to gain certain things in your life, you may choose a path which may not be with respect to dharma. You have to be very careful regarding that whatever happens, you should follow the proper righteousness while going to achieve certain things in your life. That is what about the optimistic idea of 9th house. So it can make you over optimistic regarding anything. So during those particular moments, you can also feel that yes, why to follow the predefined way laid down by our father, our guru. So it can make you feel deviated from your righteousness of dharma. It can also make you feel like what if I don't follow the wisdom of my guru or my father. It can make you feel like that. But be very wise while choosing any path, because this particular Rahu after 18 months will come out of your 9th house, but whatever task we take, whatever task we do, that karma remains. So be very careful regarding that also. Okay, that while you are choosing any path, we should have a proper respect to our elders also. Okay, otherwise this particular Rahu will give you some gems of knowledge of higher wisdom, higher spirituality, okay, by this transit. For the Virgo ascendant people, your 2nd and 8th axis will be turned on, will be activated. Ketu will be transiting in your 2nd house, Rahu will be transiting in your 8th house. 2nd house is the house of values, our moral, our tradition, our culture, the culture where we are brought in, the wealth, anything which we possess, our family, our near and dear ones, family members, anything related to family issues is 2nd house, which is ruled by Venus. Now this transit of Ketu in your 2nd house can have a detached way away from your family members or family issues, or it can make you feel that dealing with people in a diplomatic way through the speech, because 2nd house is also the house of speech, our behavior. It can make you feel a very bit difficult while dealing with people in a diplomatic way, while talking with them in a diplomatic way. It can make you feel like that, very difficult. Or when you are dealing with your finances, your wealth, or anything which you value, all of a sudden you may feel very much detached from those things. So if you are handling your finances, if you are handling with your wealth, during this particular time when Ketu is transiting through your 2nd house, you need to be very careful, because Ketu is headless. All of a sudden you take any financial decision and later on you may feel that I shouldn't have taken this decision, or I should have taken advice from my elders, or I should have taken advice from my family members. But this Ketu, since it has got that higher insight, the piercing energy, penetrating power, the power to discriminate anything, so all of a sudden you may have that discriminatory power to discriminate regarding the culture or morals laid down by your family members. So suddenly you may revolt regarding those things which you have learned from them. So that can create some kind of confusion, arguments between you and your family members. So regarding those things you have to be very careful. On the other hand, This Rahu transit will take all your focus towards the 8th house energy. 8th house is also a part of Moksha Trikon. It's a very spiritual house. It can make you very much interested towards anything which related to spirituality, spiritual way of living, occult science, deep secrets, research, deep knowledge. It can make you feel that yes, I can learn something with concentration, with focus. But since it is Rahu and sign Aries, you will always feel that how much quickly I can get this knowledge. So this can also show some lack of patience within you. And 8th house, don't forget, it is the house of transformation, it is the house of suddenness, and Rahu itself is a sudden energy. 8th house also deals with chronic energies, chronic diseases, addiction. 8th house also deals about the path deviated away from dharma. Sins can be seen from the 8th house. So this transit of Rahu, you have to have proper control over your instincts. You have to have proper control regarding any kind of work you are doing, because any kind of wrongdoings done during this transit can bring some difficult results in future. And that is what this Rahu is going to test you, that are you following proper path, because this Rahu will also give you scope to have proper spiritual way of living. It will definitely give you this scope, because that is the obsession of Rahu, to know the things, to gain the significance, everything related to that house, and that is the 8th house, and it is the fiery sign of Aries. So you have got the energy. Now it is completely upon you how much quickly you learn the things. Since it is Rahu and fiery sign of Aries, you should also be very careful regarding your marital life or your life in relationship. How you follow the karma in your relationship, in your married life, or how you deal with your joint assets, with your in-laws. Be very careful regarding that. Okay, don't fall into any kind of illusion. 8th house also deals with secret enemies also, injuries, accidents. So don't get out of control any impulsive work which can lead to any kind of problem. Stay away from wrongdoing, stay away from addictions during this particular transit. Have control over your instincts. So that is the Virgo ascendant people. For the Libra ascendant people, this transit is again turning on your 1-7 axis. That is, the Ketu is transiting in your first house, and Rahu is as usual transiting in your 7th house in the sign of Aries. When I talked regarding the sign of Aries in the Aries ascendant part, in there also 1-7 axis was on, but Ketu here for the Libra ascendant is in the ascendant. Ketu will be transiting over your first house. Now, Libra sign in the first house make a person very peace loving. This type of person wants to have proper justice, proper balance in whatever scope of their life is. Whatever decision they take, they will always think about proper justice, diplomacy, and then only they will talk about it. So here Ketu can make you feel too much discriminative regarding any kind of action or decision making you take. Now suppose if you feel that yes, I want to be very diplomatic regarding my personality, regarding my presentation in front of the world, Ketu will make you feel no. You have to be more insightful, you have to judge the situation more nicely, have the eye for detail. Ketu will make you feel like that, and in this particular process you can lose the way from negotiation to more judgmental. That is what Ketu can make you feel. In this particular way, when you are talking about personality development, Ketu can directly challenge your personality. It can make you feel that yes, this is not the thing which is good for you in front of the world. So it can at times you may feel that my confidence level is going down. Your interaction in front of the whole world can be a bit less all of a sudden because of this transit of Ketu in the first house. But in the positive aspect, the same Ketu can give you energy to do more work on your personality development, on your health. That is the reason all of a sudden you may feel that my health is getting down. Why? Because previously something you might have done which was deteriorating your health, but you ignored. But since Ketu came in your first house, now you had that eye for detail, and all of a sudden you feel that yes, I have to work for my personality, I have to work for my health, I have to work upon my decision making, my daily life, what I do from the since I wake up in the morning. This is what Ketu will make you feel for the Libra ascendant people. On the other hand, since you are researching on your personality, in the same time you will also get focused towards the other person, towards the other people in the 7th house where Rahu is transiting. All your focus will be completely shifted towards your partner. So this can at times can make you feel very much passionate, very much energetic to form a new relationship. Like suppose you are thinking about marriage, all of a sudden by this transit of Rahu in the 7th house you may get married, provided your supportive dasas are going on. All of a sudden you may feel that yes, I got the marriage proposal and suddenly the things turned out. Now since Rahu is something innovative, something away from the society, you may get connected with a partner from other culture, from other community or some other place, some foreign place, because 7th house is the farthest house away from your first house, from your lagna. So you may get connected with someone, with a partner or with a spouse. A new married negotiation can come where the partner can be of some other place, some other community or some foreign place. But since Rahu is also obsession, Rahu is that endless desires, and 7th house is also a part of Kama Trikon, house of desire. So if you are in a relationship, Rahu can also make you feel that yes, think away from this relationship. It can make you feel that yes, you can get into some other kind of relationship also. So it can disturb the present relationship. So you have to have proper control over your instincts. Yes, impulse and passion is all okay, but you can show that controlled passion in the present relationship, and it can use it in some constructive manner rather than destructive manner. Because when you are not giving proper importance to your partner and thinking away from the relationship, that is actually not a part of dharma, correct? So in doing so, you can deviate from correct path. So I will say you that during this particular time, it is a good time to take care of your spouse, take care regarding any kind of necessity of your spouse, health of your spouse. Use the Rahu energy in this particular way. That can give you more better results. Take care regarding anything what your spouse likes. Rahu is obsession, so you can take care more of the things what your spouse likes. Okay, that will give you good results rather than deviating into some wrong path. Okay. For the Scorpio ascendant people, your 12th house and 6th house will be activated. That is, Ketu will be transiting in your 12th house, Rahu will be transiting in your 6th house. Now, for the Scorpio ascendant people, Mars rules your 6th and 1st house. So, since Mars is your Lagna Lord, your first Lord, so you are very energetic when it comes to dealing with your opponents. You are very straightforward when you are dealing with the life challenges. You feel more competitive. more focused when you are dealing with any kind of problems in your life. So you can curb down your opponents, you can curb down your any kind of problems or challenges coming in front of you, and this transit of Rahu through the 6th house will give you that kind of energy. Any kind of work you do, any kind of projects come in your life, or anything which you do in your day-to-day life, this Rahu transit will give you the proper energy to get success through it. Whatever problem comes in your life, you will always find a way around, because Rahu feels that if I don't get the path in predefined manner, I can create a path of my own. Okay, so that means this particular transit of Rahu will not only curb down your enemies, but also give you success, in all round success in whatever work you do. It will also increase your name, fame at your service sector or duty, whatever duty you do. It will give proper justification to your efforts. But since 6th house is also the house of disease, enemies and debts, so I will say you, depending upon certain dasas, or depending upon the position of Mars in your chart, or any planet posited in the 6th house, you have to also be very careful regarding any kind of unnecessary aggression or impulsion, because that can lead to some kind of fights with your opponent, that can lead to some kind of injuries, wounds. Okay, you have to be very careful regarding that also. On the other hand, Ketu transit will be happening in your 12th house. Now 12th house for the Scorpio ascendant people is ruled by Venus, that is Libra. So they can be very much passionate towards spirituality and towards their own instincts also. They can be very passionate by the lordship of this Venus. But now since Ketu is transiting, so it is bringing all of a sudden it is bringing a mode that you can be away from your instincts and follow the spiritual way of living, from the materialistic way to the spiritual way. So this can make you feel that yes, you can choose your path spiritually, do the spiritual exercises, spiritual practices that can give you much more better results. Now since Ketu is also headless, and 12th house also deals with the anything related to isolation, solitude or hidden enemies, so if this spiritual way of living is not performed nicely, that can also make you feel or make you suffer from mental anxiety or any kind of problems which can directly impact your psyche. Okay, so you have to follow the proper path of spirituality, that can give you very much better results. And yes, you have to be very careful regarding any kind of person who can suddenly come up in your life and can harm you, because it is also the house of hidden enemies, and Ketu is headless. So you do something and suddenly it can give you some different kind of results. So this is a time to learn these spiritual gems, because this Ketu can help you to explore the area of spirituality, to get connected with the spiritual community, spiritual people at some far away place. You can also practice this way of living in some your own space, solitude, that will give you much more better results. Okay. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, your 5th and 11th house axis will be activated. Rahu will be transiting in your 5th house, Ketu will be transiting in your 11th house. Now, by the virtue of this Ketu transit in your 11th house, all of a sudden you may feel that your ambitions, your goals, or your thinking to have success into that particular level through your network circle, through your projects, or through any kind of things which you feel that yes, I can achieve, all of a sudden you may feel that this is the thing which I wanted. You may all of a sudden you may feel like that. Or this can lead to some kind of problems with your friends in your network circle, or any of your friend in your network circle or in your group. You can have any kind of problems associating with them diplomatically, or when you are coming to a negotiation in a particular opinion, you can have problems coming to a common opinion or negotiation. That kind of problems can come, so that can lead to some arguments, that can lead to some kind of unnecessary disputes. Okay, at times you may feel very much detached from your friend circle, so you may feel that yes, I can work on the things on my own rather than getting connected with in a group or in a network circle. Okay, this can also make you feel detached from the fact that the things which I wanted in my life, is it the thing which I actually wanted? So this kind of feelings may suddenly come in your life. But suppose if your Venus is well posited in your chart and certain dasas are going on, then this particular Ketu can give you all of a sudden unpredictable wealth and unpredictable gains, because Rahu and Ketu, they are very unpredictable planet. They run on suddenness. All of a sudden it can create windfall of money, windfall of income from some unknown sources, from inconvenient sources. That can also happen. That will depend upon the position of Venus in your chart and the respective dasa which is going on. Okay, if any benefic dasas are going on and your chart is well established, then this particular Ketu transit can suddenly give you that windfall of money in your life. Now let us talk about the transit of Rahu in the 5th house in the sign of Aries. So here, for the Sagittarius ascendant people, you are always ready to learn new creative skill set, new knowledge, new education to improve your intelligence. Now since it is Rahu, innovative intelligence, innovative creativity, anything which is different, something different. This can also give you good results with respect to creative self-expression. Now since it is the area of Mars, so huge energy will be involved. You can work on certain things, certain area of your life that can not only give you name, fame, reputation, but also can give you good results with respect to whatever talents you have. It is a very good time to improve your talents, to work upon that. Now if your Mars is well placed and certain dasas are going on, then this transit of Rahu can not only give you mass fame with respect to your creative talents, but also can give you huge amount of reputation and gains out of it. Okay, since Rahu is transiting through the 5th house, this can also signify that you have to be very careful regarding your children, your progeny, regarding how you are dealing with your children. Or it may also happen Rahu is desire, endless desire. So during this particular time, you may also feel like that my children are getting over demanding, my children are getting not satisfied with what I am providing to them. You may feel like that. So this kind of things can happen. So by this way, you can use the proper application of your creativity, proper application of your wisdom, and that can give you results, good results with respect to this transit of Rahu in your own creative skill set also, and with respect to your children and progeny also. Okay, that is for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, this transit of Rahu and Ketu is going to happen in your 4th and 10th house respectively. So that means your 4th, 10th axis will be activated. Rahu will be transiting in your 4th house in the sign of Aries, and Ketu will be transiting in your 10th house in the sign of Libra. By the virtue of this transit of Rahu in the 4th house, you will have success regarding any matter related to land, property, or any kind of projects. Or suppose if you are thinking that yes, I can do this particular thing to maintain peace at my home, or security at my home, or domestic happiness, then you will get too much attached and obsessed regarding any matter regarding your home or homeland. This is also a very good time when you can get too much connected with your mother. So it's a wonderful time to take care more of your mother, take care of her health, spend some time with her. If you are far away from home, you will feel that yes, I can visit my home, I can visit my homeland, I can visit the people whom I love the most. This kind of things can happen in your life. Now, since Rahu is also illusion and fourth house is the house of mental peace and happiness, depending upon the planets which are posited in the fourth house in your horoscope, in your birth chart, and depending upon the dasas, this particular transit of Rahu in your fourth house can also create problems like mental anxiety, some kind of restlessness, mental restlessness, sleeping issues, or whenever you are at home, you may also feel very much restless because you may feel that yes, I am getting too much lonely. This kind of things can happen depending upon certain planets posited in your chart and certain dasas. Otherwise, this Rahu transit in your fourth house can also give you material success, because fourth house is the house of vehicles, property, landed property, your home. So you can get good results with respect to these things. All of a sudden you feel very much passionate regarding your home, the things which you love, the things which give you happiness. Okay. On the other hand, Ketu is transiting through the 10th house, the house of name, fame, reputation, status, the house which deals with the source of livelihood, our profession, our career, our overall karma, our success, stature, status. So here Ketu can make you feel that the work which you are doing, by the virtue of this transit of Ketu, you can get perfection in whatever work you are doing, because it gives us proper insights, proper piercing and penetration power to look into the things which is correct and which is not. So whatever work you are doing, you can get proper perfection in that work. By what? Because the way you are working, you may find that way to be full of dissatisfaction. That can make you feel detached from the mode of your work. So you can apply some new researchful techniques to improve your work, to improve the area of your work, what you are doing in your work environment, at your career, in your profession. Since Libra is the sign of negotiation and diplomacy, and Ketu is that detachment, this can also lead to some kind of problems when you are dealing with your superiors, your authorities, or your co-workers, colleagues at your work environment. In fact, any person at your work environment, you may face problem dealing with them diplomatically, or you may face problem in coming into any kind of negotiation with them regarding any kind of mode of work, or the things you are doing, or any kind of responsibilities coming into you. Any new kind of responsibility can come in your work sector. So you may feel problematic regarding that I don't know regarding this work, why are you giving me this particular work? This kind of things can happen. So you have to be very careful regarding how you are dealing with your authorities, because it can happen that new kind of work may come, you can work upon it, you can research upon it, and in future that can give you good results. So look into the things very wisely, then only act upon it. Okay, so that is for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, this transit of Rahu and Ketu is going to activate your 3rd and 9th axis. Rahu will be transiting in your 3rd house in the sign of Aries, whereas Ketu will be transiting in your 9th house. 9th house is the house of higher spiritual knowledge, higher wisdom, our guru, our father. And Ketu sometimes creates dissatisfaction, detachment. So Ninth house also deals with our religious ideas, our customs, rituals, our religion, overall dharma. So here Ketu can make you feel that you can be more spiritual than religious. Any kind of predefined customs, rituals, you may feel that I'm not getting along with this particular thing. Let me be more uniform with the spirituality, the higher super soul. You may feel like that. So in this particular way, any kind of guidance which normally we get from our guru, from our father, Ketu may make you feel that this is a proper predefined path, but I am not getting into it. I am not getting proper idea regarding this, because when we talk about idealistic thoughts, that also comes from the sign of Libra. Because idealistic thoughts, when you deal with the people, and here dealing with the people means dealing with the people of religious communities, our guru, father, elders. So here Ketu can make you feel that yes, you can think more spiritually rather than any kind of religious knowledge, any kind of ancient scriptures. Okay, so you may feel that yes, I can learn about it in some different way, in some own made way. So it is also a good time that you can connect with spiritual communities of different area, some far away place. You can have some long distance travel in some spiritual discourses, because since ninth house is the house of higher spiritual knowledge, in one way or the other, this Ketu transit can make you be more spiritual, learning new things, new ideas, rather than getting along with the things which have been predefinedly definitely put on you. You may challenge those things. You may feel that this is not the thing which I wanted, I want something else. Okay. On the other hand, Rahu transit in your third house is a very welcome transit, I will say. Rahu is the planet of material desires, the future. Here Rahu can give you some energetic efforts, actions to chase your dreams, to chase the things which you actually want in your life, material desires. Okay, here Rahu is very much welcome in the third house. It gives you the enough energy and power to get the things which you actually want in your life to work. It can give you a very strong sense of communicative ideas, because it is the sign of Aries, very fiery, very impulsive, very aggressive, and learn the new things, new ideas in a different manner, in some innovative manner. So here Rahu can make you feel that yes, you can work upon certain things in a smart work, smartly, not the hard work, the normal way, in some different work, in some different eccentric manner. Because Aquarius is a very futuristic sign. Here Rahu will allow you to work in your talents in that futuristic way, scientific way, in some different manner. Here one thing I will say, since Rahu is illusion, Rahu also informs us about anything which is cloudy, which is not clear. This can also lead to manipulative energies. This can also lead to any kind of path which you are going through that can lead to some kind of other kind of results, which you think that yes, if I follow this particular path I can get good results, but it can lead to some other kind of results also, because Rahu is illusion. So when you are planning for certain things, make sure that you have done proper homework, and then only you are putting your energy, then only you are putting your time for that. Because if you have done your homework, then this Rahu transit will give you definitely good results, because it will give you the proper energy to work upon. So whatever path you take, it will give you the energy for work upon. Okay, so that's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, Rahu transit will be happening in your second house. Ketu transit will be happening in your 8th house. By the virtue of this transit in the second house, Rahu will give you proper energy for the accumulation of wealth, to improve your financial status, to improve more on your values or valuable things, the things which you possess. It will give you the sense of accumulating those things, to protect those things, the things which you value. But since Rahu also talks about innovation, thinking away from the modes of the society, away from the convention, it can also make you feel that the tradition which you have been following from your childhood, all of a sudden you may feel that I can work upon something away from this. Away from this means in some different manner, in some innovative way. So this can lead to some kind of confusion between you and your family members, difference of opinion between you and your near and dear ones. There can be some kind of problematic speech. You say something and you think something and you say something else. That can lead to some kinds of arguments. So be very careful regarding that also, because while chasing your dreams, make sure that you are not going into some different path which is not good for you. You have to be very careful regarding that, because second house is the house of values, the things which you value the most. But here Rahu will question you the things which you value. So it will make you feel that what have I received following this particular value system, I should do something else. So while doing something else, you have to be very careful that you should be in proper path, you should be in proper righteous path. Okay, because ultimately it is your responsibility to maintain the tradition and culture of your family, tradition and culture of the things which you have received from your elders. That is also your responsibility. So you have to be very careful regarding that. Yes, Rahu will allow you to accumulate the wealth, but since it is a natural malefic planet transiting through the second house, you have to also be very careful regarding any kind of unnecessary expenditure. In your expenses, in your spendings, be very careful. Okay, that is for the Pisces ascendant people. Now, Ketu will be transiting in your 8th house for the Pisces ascendant people. 8th house is the house of hidden secrets. 8th house is the house of research, transformation. It is a essential part of occult spirituality, moksha trikon, and Ketu can give us that research oriented sense to learn things from the deep down secrets, to take out the gems out of it. So here Ketu can give you that proper focus and research to learn the things which are deep, dark, secrets, occult, spirituality, any knowledge or any kind of information which is not from as per convention, which is something hidden, which is something very rare, which requires more concentration and research. That kind of things can come by the aspect of this transit of Ketu in your 8th house. Now, when we talk about materialistic living, then 8th house also deals with our married life. It also deals with how we follow our relationship, how we determine our joint assets, our relationship with our in-laws. That is also seen from the 8th house. So there can be some kind of issues when you are following your married life. You may feel that I am feeling more detached from it. In fact, I am getting more spiritually involved. You may feel like that at times. So that can lead to some kind of confusion, some kind of dissatisfaction, or any kind of dispute, arguments between you and your partner, because ultimately Venus as a lord of the sign Libra talks about diplomacy, relationship, peace, loving, bindings, bondings. But Ketu is like I don't know what about negotiation, I don't know what about diplomacy. It can make you feel that it has more thing to do rather than superficially getting into any kind of diplomatic relationship. Okay, so there you can get some kind of issues, there you can get some kind of dissatisfaction or problems. Okay, another thing, 8th house also deals with unpredictability. 8th house talks about ups and downs, transformation, chronic diseases. This transit of Ketu through the 8th house can also involve some kind of disease or illness resurfacing, which may go undiagnosed. Now, this will not be for every one of us. This can be depending upon the planets over Ketu transiting over, or the certain types of dasas. If you are going through any kind of dasa of a planet which is malefic planet for your chart, or any suppose malefic planet is posited in the 8th house and Ketu is transiting over it, so and sudden health issues are already there, then it can create some kind of health condition which may get undiagnosed. So that kind of things can also happen. So I will say that it is a time to follow proper path, proper health can be taken into this matter, that you can follow proper healthy practices during this particular time, because that will give you much more better results. And yes, spiritual practices, spiritual way of living, sattvic way of living can give you more better results with this transit of Ketu in the 8th house. So that's it for the Pisces ascendant people, and that's it for the all the 12 ascendant signs. If you have liked this video, then press the like button, share it to your near and dear ones, and your comments are always welcome to me. Write down regarding how you felt regarding this video, and what are the things which you are experiencing, and any kind of opinion or inquiries which you are going through, you can write it down in the comments. I normally go through all the comments, and if you want any consultation from me, then check the links in the description section. You can directly mail to me, you can connect with my Facebook and Instagram accounts. And if you are new to this channel, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. So till then, when I come back with another interesting video, I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.